Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name's Mel. Thank you so much for joining me today for November's Roll of Reads. So most of you probably do know, but for anyone that is just tuning in for the first time, Roll of Reads is the game that I play every single month to decide what my TBR will be for the month. For a full explanation of the rules and the gameplay and how everything works, I will link the playlist in the description below so you can go and check that out. Also, just to let you know that whenever I do Roll of Reads, I always have the timestamps in the description below so you can switch around and watch just what you're interested in. So I always go through the books I should have read from the last month, talk about what punishments I'm owed, any readathons, buddy reads, all of that sort of thing coming up. So you can skip forward just the gameplay if you would rather do that. So we are filming this a little bit early in the month because I've got some announcement videos that I wanted to put up next week. So we've had to be a little bit early for November, which means that in a minute when I go through all the books that I should have read throughout the month of October, some of them will be, I think I'll get through them because I've got about a week left of October, so there's a few that I'm pretty sure I'll get through, and then some that will have to be punishments because I definitely won't get to those. So there's once again quite a few different readathons coming up in the month of November. First of all, there is Believathon. This is the middle grade readathon that is hosted by Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin. This is the last Believathon, unfortunately, so I definitely wanted to go in that one. Then there is the month-long Royal Readathon that is run by Rebecca Fowle. I'm not 100% sure if there are other hosts. I'm pretty sure there are, but all of the information for everyone that I talk about in this video will be in the description below as usual, so you can go and follow all of the different people, check out the announcement videos for the readathons and whatnot. But yeah, so Becca and I think the other person who hosts will be in the description below, so you can go and check those out. And then there is also a week-long readathon, which is the long distance relationship readathon that is run by Chloe from Chloe Reads Books. This is the first time for that readathon and it looks like it's going to be really fun, so I really want to support Chloe and join in the readathon. What I've decided to do is for this game, I'm going to be doing my roll of reads, and that will include Believathon prompts, and then I'll make another TBR video. Probably will come out in the next couple of weeks that will explain how all of the books that are chosen today will go towards the long distance readathon and the Royal Readathon, which I should have said is the Fairies edition. But I'll give you more information about all of that when I do my other TBR. So, as I usually do, I have my TBR cards that I place out on the board, but I also have the cards for Believathon. So this month's theme is Escape from the Jungle, so that's an example of one of the cards. So I'm going to include some of the Believathon cards on the board, on my board, so that's how I'm going to play. Because Gavin did say that basically all you have to do is one prompt and you've done the readathon. First thing, let's go through and see how I went with last month, or October, which is technically this month, but anyway. Alright, so the first card that I got was New York Times bestselling author, and for this I should have read They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I haven't actually read this one yet, but Connor and I are going to be reading it in the last few days, so yeah, we'll be starting that next week. The next card that I got was a gift or from a subscription box, and for this one I should have read Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerry Maniscalco. This was sent to me by Connor. I have not read this one, and I kind of think I probably won't end up reading this one, so yeah, that's a punishment. Then I got the card Neurodivergent, and for this one I should have read The Bride Test by Helen Huang. Again, I feel like I probably won't end up reading this one, so that's another punishment. Next up I got the card mentioned in the Gilmore Girls, and for this one I was supposed to have read The Devil in the White City by Eric Larson, and I have read this one. Then I got Translated, and for this one I was supposed to have read The Transmigration of Bodies, but I actually DNF'd that one, so it does count as somewhat read, so it won't be a punishment, but I didn't finish it. Then I got Buddy Read, and for this one I should have read Every Move by Ellie Marnie. I haven't yet read it, but Again, they're quite little and they've been taking me not very long to get through. So I've been deliberately leaving these till the end of the month because the live shows are in the first weekend of the following month. So I'm definitely going to get to this one. Then I got the card indie/self-published, and for this one I should have read When the Tiger Came Down the Mountain by Nevo, and I haven't read that one. So that's another punishment. Then I got the card Memoir, and for this one I should have read Solutions and Other Problems by Ali Brosh, and I did read this one. Then I got the card Islamic Inspired, and I should have read Amal Unbound by Aisha Saeed, and I did read this one. Then I got Favourite Author's First Book, which I kind of twisted a little bit so that I could do one of my favourite booktubers' first full-length novel, and that is The Flames of Albion by Jean Menzies. So that is Jean from Jean Bookish Thoughts. Again, like everyone's, channel listed in the description below. But yeah, I did read this one. Then I got Black Author, and for that I should have read The Disappearance of Ember Crow by Amber Lynn Quay Molina. I don't think I'm going to get to this one either, so that will probably end up being a punishment. Then I got the card Muslim Author, and for this one I should have read Internment by Samira Ahmed. Given that this is quite a short one, and given again that this is young adult, I do think I'll probably end up being able to read this one before the end of the month. And then I got the card One Word Title, and for this one I wasn't sure between two books, which are Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides and Pyramids by Terry Pratchett. I'm actually going to be reading both of these books, which may seem like a silly thing to do given that reading one of them would have gotten me out of punishment. But anyway, I started this one the other day. This is part of my will expire in a year if I don't, have to read them or try them, or else I have to get rid of them in a year, which runs out in January. So I really want to get some of these read. As you can see, I've tabbed it all up so I can read it by the end of the month. And then this one is a buddy read with Ellie from Earl Grey Books, and it is, again, not super long, but also it's a reread. One of my favourite authors of all time, one of my favourite series of all time. So I do think that I will get to this one as well. Well, we're buddy reading it, so I'll have to. That is everything for last month. So that means that I have 4 punishments that I have to include. So when I go to set up the board, I have to make sure that I include 4 punishment cards. Quickly, I'm going to let you know all of the books that I have to read next month for book clubs and buddy reads and that sort of thing. So first of all, I have a buddy read with Chloe from Chloe Reads Books and Connor from Connor's Library Corner, which is Little Creeping Things by Chelsea Ikeso, I think. So we will be reading this one in November, so I would like to try and fit this on the game TBR if at all possible. Then I have my buddy read of Guards by Terry Pratchett. So this is the next book in the Discord series. Ellie and I are reading those together, so I'd like to include that on the TBR if possible as well. Then we have the Last to Read book club, which I run with Ellie and Lana from Lore and Lullabies. We are starting the Arc of the Scythe trilogy by Neil Schusterman in November, so Scythe is the other book that I have to read for my book club. That is one of the announcement videos that's going up next week, so you'll get to hear all about what we have coming up. But basically we're starting Arc of the Scythe. We'll be reading that November, December and January. So if you'd like to join us, then please do so. I will put the Twitter and the Discord in the description of this video, but also obviously the announcement video will be coming up as well soon. So if you want more information about the club in general, keep an eye on that one. There is one more final thing that I need to let everyone know about before I can do the game, and that is that Kim from Expedition Through Pages has included me in her TBR game for November. Her TBR game is TBR Trail, and every single month she rolls for herself and also another booktuber as well. So she does 4 rolls for another booktuber. So this month she's very kindly offered to include me in that, which is really, really lovely. So obviously I highly recommend that you go and check out her channel, but I will link the particular video because I'm pretty sure it will be up before this one is. So I will link the TBR video in which she does those rolls for me as well. I will tell you at the end what rolls I got and what the books are as well, so you'll get to see that anyway. But I just wanted to let you know that that is also happening. So I will roll my 12-sided dice, but I'm really hoping that I don't get 12 because that will give me 16 books. Although I hope Kim doesn't mind, but the books that she chooses will not be counted towards my punishments. I will still try and read them, but if I end up with 12 books on my own, we'll just see how we go. Alright, so now that I've told you all the things that I need to tell you about for this month, I hope, let's go ahead and set up the board and do the first roll. Okay, so we have our regular cards, we have Believathon cards, and we have our punishment cards. First thing I need to do is choose 20 regular cards. No, 16. Alright, 16, and then I need to choose 4 punishment cards, and then I need to shuffle punishment and regular cards together. So that's our cards. Then I'm going to take my D20 and I'm going to roll 8 times, and wherever they land is where we'll put a Believathon card. 17, 1, 15, can't do 1, 5, 18, 3 more, 8, 20, 10. Alright, and now place the rest of the cards. D12. Alright, let's see how many rolls we're going to have to do. 8. Alright, I can live with that. So as you guys saw, I managed to fit on quite a few Believathon prompts and also some punishment prompts got in there as well. Whether or not I actually get a punishment is obviously down to the roll of the dice, but yeah, they're in there in the mix, so they potentially will come up. And also, as you saw, I rolled my 12-sided dice and I got the number 8. So, providing that I don't get any 1s or that I don't get the same number 3 times, I will end up with only 8 books from this, which means I will end up with 12 books all up, which isn't too bad. Potentially doable, given that some of those will probably be middle grades. I think I'm going to be okay, but obviously I do have all of the buddy reads and stuff that I want to include, so hopefully I'll be able to manage to fit those in. Let's go ahead now and do the first roll of my 20-sided dice. Alright, roll number 1. 17. It's a Believathon card. Alright. Alright, we're going to replace that with a Believathon card. And roll number 1, straight out of the gate, we started with a Believathon prompt, which is fantastic. So this one says, better than a lifelong lover when you buy a book with a beautiful cover. Read a cover by. So for that, I've decided to read Pages & Co. Tilly and the Book Wanderers by Anna James. This is the first book in the Pages & Co. series, and first of all, isn't that a just gorgeous cover? I love it. It's so beautiful. I will be honest, this wasn't entirely a cover buy in the sense that I had heard of it before. Probably both Gavin and Jade's channel, not 100% sure. Yeah, and other people's as well, I think. But also the cover was just beautiful, so I really wanted to get it because it was so pretty. I'll just read the blurb to you, that might be easier. 11-year-old Tilly Pages has lived above her grandparents' bookshop ever since her mother disappeared. One day, Tilly's favourite book characters appear in the shop and she discovers she can follow them into their worlds through the magic of book wandering. Can her new power solve the mystery of what happened to her mother all those years ago? So I just think that sounds so interesting and engaging, and I'm really intrigued to read this one. I've heard some great things about it, so I'm really excited that was my first roll, and yeah, the first roll we're going in Believathon, so excited for that. Roll 2. 14. Cozy Reading Night. And for roll number 2, I got Cozy Reading Night. So this one doesn't come with a particular book prompt, so yeah, I can have a Cozy Reading Night at some point throughout the month of November, and I will vlog it and yeah, share it with you guys. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. All right, let's go check out what the third roll will be. All right, roll number 3. 7. Okay, number 7. TBR Veteran. Okay, interesting. Can we maybe... Okay, well that was very helpful. Can we get off the board, please? Shade's helping me. Isn't she so helpful? So helpful. Ow. Yeah, can we maybe move? As you guys saw, I had an extremely helpful cat come and join me. we might be having some fun with this game today. But anyway, I got TBR Veteran. Now, the one thing that I forgot to mention when I was telling you guys about all the books that I had to read for buddy reads and whatnot was I forgot to mention that I'm also part of a read along for the Lord of the Rings trilogy. This is being hosted by beautifully bookish Bethany, and yeah, I am part of that, and I forgot to mention that. So I'm kind of twisting this one just simply because I've already read The Return of the King, which is the final book we have to read. Technically, you could argue this isn't really a TBR vet because it's not an unread book that I've had for a while, but it fits anyway because I've had it for a long time. And I've always liked to read Lord of the Rings, reread Lord of the Rings, so I'm going to go with it. So we have The Return of the King by Tolkien. This is the final book in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I won't go into detail about what this book is about. I would imagine most people know a little bit about the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and this is the final book anyway, but yeah, I'm really excited to get into this one. I've been loving my reread, so glad this one came up. All right, and roll number 4. I think I'm not allowed to use that card. Shade, you're being very helpful. Do you think you could move, maybe? Why don't you play with the dice over here? Alright, quick. Just had a little bit of extra shuffling and a card stolen. And now I place that one. Alright. Roll number 4. 16. Inspired a movie you've already seen. So Shade continues to be extremely helpful, but we got a card anyway, and that was inspired a movie you've already seen. So I'm actually going to be using this one to do a buddy read with my mum, because another thing that I managed to entirely forget to tell you about, doing well aren't I, is that I have my In Real Life book club, which is the Book into Film Club, where we read a book and then watch an adaptation of said book and then sort of discuss. And I was using a random number generator to decide what that would be, and we got Bird Box. I was kind of like, I really want to read this because I've enjoyed the movie, but I don't know, it's horror, so will people like it? And I asked the group and most people weren't keen. But my mum was keen, so Mum and I are going to read Bird Box by Josh Malerman. I did do another number regeneration for the Book in Film Club, so I will tell you again at the end of the video, hopefully I recall to do that, what that book was, because that's another book that I'll have to add to this already incredibly expanding TBR. But anyway, so Bird Box is a horror and we follow Mallory. Something starts happening and there's basically these creatures, assumedly from outer space, and there is something about these creatures that cause whoever sees them to decide they have to kill themselves. And that's essentially what the movie's about. There's other stuff going on as well. I'm assuming that's what the book is about. So yeah, I'm excited to read it because like I said, I did enjoy the movie. So I want to see what the book's about and how they're different, all that stuff. So that's a buddy read I'll be doing with my mum. All right, next roll. That was a 1, unfortunately, but that is another Believathon. Right. So, next roll, I got another Believathon card, which is this one here. So, it says, more than a billion have different views. It's time to walk in other people's shoes. Read an own voices book. So, I have chosen this lovely short little one here, which is called Yinti Desert Child by Pat Lowe and Jimmy Pike. Let's read the back again. Yinti is a traditional Walmajari boy growing up in the Great Sandy Desert of Western Australia, one of the most marginal environments on Earth. Yinti has no contact with white people until the last chapter of the book when he meets his first white man, first horse, and first bullock. So yeah, I don't know exactly how own voices this is. It certainly is own voices in the sense that it is written by Australian Aboriginal authors about an Australian Aboriginal child, but whether or not they have had the specific experiences that he has had, I don't in the book, I don't know. But yeah, that's the book I'll be reading. Plus, it's super short. It is 131 pages long. So I really hope that Gavin, no, I was going to say I really hope that Gavin doesn't have a rule about having to be a certain number of pages long, but it does actually include picture books, so this will definitely be okay. This is kind of between picture and middle grade. It's kind of probably more of a chapter book, but yeah, that's that one. All right, next roll. Jade, I'm glad you want to be involved, but where'd you put your dice? You want another dice? Get it. Get the dice. I'm just losing dice everywhere. No, kitty, no. Aren't you going to play with the card you stole? Oh, look, here's your dice here. You dropped them on the floor. Oh, shade. Oh, all right. You know what? You're not allowed in here anymore. She's refusing to be lured out of the room. Okay, I'm going to try 20 and a percent dice. I wonder which she'll go for. A 9. Cat's pick. For this roll, I got Cat's pick. So I'm going to pick 3 books that Shade can potentially choose from. So the 3 books that she will be choosing between are The Watchmaker of Filigree Street by Natasha Pulley. This is a historical literary fiction based in London, I think, in 1883, so I think it's supposed to be like a little bit of a magical realism bent as well, so it sounds really fun. And then we have The Foundling by Stacey Halls. So this is another historical literary fiction. And then we have After Story by Larissa Brent, which is, I think it's contemporary, but it's a literary fiction as well. So let's go and see which one she ends up picking. Hang on. I don't think it'll look very fair. I just went for the one that was right there. Okay, pick one. Jade, which one do you want? Which one? Which one? Look. Which one? Oh, it was definitely The Watchmaker that time. Alright, thanks Shade. So as you guys just saw, Shade went for The Watchmaker of Filigree Street by Natasha Pulley. In fairness, I do think that maybe next time I should probably set it up and then bring her in. But anyway, this is the book that she ended up picking. I've had this on my TBR for a while now and I've been very intrigued to read it. So I'm excited to have it on this actual TBR, if that makes sense. So 15, just another Believathon. I got another Believathon card, which is this one. And it says, on and on the story goes, read it quick or decompose. Read a long book. So for this one, I have decided to go with Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. This is 400 and something. 408 pages long, which for a middle grade I think is pretty long. And I've heard some amazing things about this one. Plus, again, look at that cover. This was sent to me by Lana from Lore and Lullabies, so thank you, Lana. And I have been really excited to read it, but I've been saving it for Believathon, so I'm very excited to read it for Believathon. I will just read the blurb to you very quickly. Amari Peters knows 3 things. Her brother Quentin has gone missing. No one will talk about it. His mysterious job holds a clue. In fact, that is all I'm going to read. That's all I want to know. That's all I'm going to tell you. But yeah, like I said, I've been hearing amazing things about it, so I'm super excited to read it. Alright, and roll number 8, which as you guys know is not my final roll because I did get 1. So let's see what we get. 20! 20, 20, 20, 20. Which is another Believathon. And we got another Believathon card, which is fantastic. So that one is this one here, and it says, haven't I seen you before? You look rather familiar. How alike we both sound. It's like looking in a mirror. Read a book that was adapted. So for this one, I'm going to read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl. This is a reread for me. I love this book. It's been a long time since I've read this one. I feel like I don't need to explain what this is because if you haven't read the book, you have most likely seen an adaptation because it's been adapted at least twice, but probably more than that. But yeah, it's about a little boy who gets a golden ticket to go to a chocolate factory, and all sorts of weird and wonderful things happen. So as you can see, it's quite little. Again, I guarantee that I will fly through this because I know it quite well, and I'm looking forward to picking it up again. Final roll. And it's a 13, just this one here. A gift or from a subscription box. For the final roll, I got a gift or from a subscription box. Happily, it was the final roll, and this one means that I can actually include my buddy read of Little Creeping Things by Chelsea Ikaso, because I got this one in a subscription box. So I used to get the subscription box Go Scribbler, which is a writer's book box. I'm not getting that anymore, not because it wasn't a good box, it's a great box. I really wasn't using the stuff very much, so I just thought this is silly to collect stuff I'm not really using. This looks kind of creepy, and I'm very excited to read it as my buddy read. When she was a child, Cassidy Pratt accidentally started a fire that killed her neighbour. She's pretty sure she didn't mean to do it, and she'd give anything to forget that awful day. But her town's bullies, particularly the cruel and beautiful Melody Davenport, have never let her live it down. Then Melody goes missing, and Cassidy thinks she has information about what happened. But yeah, sounds really interesting. So I'm excited to read this one with Connor and Chloe. So that is my roll of reads. As you guys saw, I did manage to include one buddy read, but I didn't manage to include my own book club book or the buddy read with Ellie, and I also didn't manage to include my other number generator, which by the way was Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. So what I'm going to do now is go through and let you know what happened with Kim's TBR Trail and what I got for that, and then we'll see how we come out at the end of that. Because of Believathon, I asked her to change non-fiction for middle grade. So for the first prompt, she got middle grade, and it was to read a book with an animal on the cover. I have chosen Black Cockatoo by Carl Merison and Hakia Hustler. This is a very short book, as you can see, but again, Believathon doesn't mind, so this would be super quick to read, and it's got a black cockatoo on the cover. When Mia rescues a Diran black cockatoo, she faces her biggest challenge when she chooses to care for the bird, knowing it is her totem animal. Mia feels powerless to change the things she sees around her until she explores the fragile connections of family and culture and discovers her own inner strength. And then we got fiction Free Choice and an embossed cover. So for this one, I've actually chosen The Secret Keeper by Kate Morton. So I don't know how well you can see that, but the title and the author names are embossed. So yeah, this one is one of those books that swap between historical and contemporary, and it's about different parts of the same family and how the past intertwines with the future and all that sort of thing. So literary fiction. I have read another Kate Morton that I really enjoyed, and I'm really excited to read some more of hers because I really, really enjoyed it. I love those sorts of books where they have the different timelines, different points of views intertwining. It is a bit of a chunky one, but given that we have quite a few middle grades, I think I'll hopefully be okay. And it is another one of my self-destruct books, so I really want to dive in and try and get some of those read because, like I said, I've only got till January. So yeah. And then she got middle grade again, and the prompt was Own Voices. So for this one, I will be reading The Boy at the Back of the Class by Anjali K. Ralph. So I don't know whether Own Voices, I'm hoping Own Voices covers this. So this is about a Syrian refugee who escapes to America, I think. I believe that we don't follow the boy, we follow his classmates in his new classroom, but it's written by a Syrian person. So I think that classifies, although I don't know whether they were a refugee or not. Yeah. Let me know if that counts as Own Voices if you think whether it does or doesn't, but that's what I've chosen. And then the final prompt that she got was Free Choice Random Letter Generator. So let's do that now. So I'm going to screen record and pop it up here so you guys can see what I get. All right, here we go. Doesn't have sound effects, this one. Spinning though, as you can see. Okay. And we got the letter S. So it is author's last name that begins with the letter, which works out perfectly because, as you guys know, my book club pick for this month is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. So that is an S. So fantastic. I get to include Scythe by Neil Shusterman, which makes me super happy because it's quite a chunky book and I didn't think I was going to be able to fit it in any other way. I think that's everything. I feel like I've got some other stuff I need to do, but no, that's everything. Here is my TBR for the month, not including a couple of ebooks that I have to add on, which, I mean, it looks big, but quite a few of these are quite short, or even when they're long, they're middle grade. So I think it'll be okay, hopefully, possibly. Anyway, that's it for me today. If you have any thoughts on any of the books that I've chosen, let me know what they are. If you have any ones that you think I should prioritize getting read throughout the month, let me know what they are. I would love to hear all of that in the comments below. If you'd like to leave me a comment but you don't know what, then please leave me, let's go with the Scythe emoji because of Scythe. All of my social media details are listed in the description below, so if you'd like to go and follow me on any of those other platforms, please feel free to do so. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you next time.